Alright, it is time for the Q&A for March. Although this is April now, so I'm late. My bad. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, time for the Q&A for March. You ask the questions, it's time for me to answer them. And just want to let everybody know, leave your questions in the comments down below or on Discord. So if you have any questions for me for the month of April, leave them down in the comment section below or on my Discord. It'd be great. And if there's any I forgot, don't worry. I'll be sure to go back to them if you let me know of any that I may have missed next month. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these questions. First off, starting with Andrew Clusi, and I hope I said your name right. But he asked, so imagine this 2v2 fight, Zwei versus Neo and any other companion to help them, like Oobleck and Zwei versus Cinder and Neo. Who will win? And of course, there have to be the rule of cool. Oh yeah, you can't have a fight without the rule of cool. If I had to say, I think that Zwei, because he's the god tier dog, he would put up a great fight against the Ice Cream Queen. I think that in the end, though, if you had Cinder and Neo team up against Oobleck and Zwei, I do think that they would win. Of course, there would be this epic climatic fight where the area I think would be destroyed if you went like full power Neo and full power with maiden power Cinder versus Oobleck and Zwei. I think that there would be a lot of destruction within the area, but I think at the same time, overall, I think that Cinder and Neo would win because of their combined abilities, illusions, as well as maiden power. So I think that would be a pretty good fight, though. And God tier Zwei, he's like Ultra Instinct Goku practically. He would be amazing. Okay, so next question. Elizabeth McGaden asked, if Ren and Nora had fought Emerald and Mercury in the final tournament, what would have happened? Also, Eggman versus Watts, who wins? Well, I would say that Emerald and Mercury would win because you have Emerald who could just use her illusions to basically just make Ren and Nora see either a fear or that they have or something that would completely distance them from the reality of the fight, and then you could have Mercury just come in and just start knocking them senseless. And considering that Mercury's been one to really train hard, I'd have to give it to Emerald Mercury. Eggman versus Watts. Well, Eggman, he's the superior brain. I mean, they tried to make Watts look smart, but he was actually stupid. And Eggman, while he's got cartoonish antics, he has some intellect. So I would have to say Eggman would win overall. Besides, he's got way too many henchmen. So, gotta give it to Eggman. Donnie Pack asks, so, Draco, what's your top 10 favorite fairy tale characters? Oh, now, very good question. Very good question. So, my number 10 favorite would probably be Mavis. I really enjoyed her character. The one thing that really puts her on top over Zara for me is the fact that, yeah, while she was the character that when she gained her immortality, she wanted to die, but then, of course, she overcame that whenever she wanted to spend the rest of her life as Zareth. But then, of course, when it comes to Zareth was a character that just wanted to die. And, a lot of the big things with the immortality scheme in a lot of series tends to be, oh, well, when I become immortal, I just want to die. I just want to end it. That's typically the whole immortality thing, and I like it better that she kind of got past that. I also liked her origin of, Zara and everything. Now, that felt to me, whenever Hero did Fairy Tail Zero, that felt to me like Rave. Like, it was like that classic adventure that he did, and I really loved it. So, Mavis' story is a sad one, but I really love it. So, I have to say Mavis and her wonderful personality, too. I really love Mavis. So, number 9 would go to Laxus. I think Laxus is actually one of the best characters in the series. I love how great he is. He was a character that kind of started off as a douche in the series, right? he was kind of a douchebag. But the thing is that over time, after his development and everything, which I did like his redemption, thing of it is that with his redemption as a character, what I really enjoyed was afterward when he returns after his training for so long being banned from the guild. I love the Hades or Hades, however you want to say his name, fight. I did love that fight. That fight was just great for his character when he returned. And then, of course, there's Gildarts as number 7. I really enjoy Gildarts because, hey, he's Shanks from One Piece, right? I mean, what's the difference? Seriously though, Gildarts I think is a very fun character. I've always liked how he was kind of like that father character for Natsu. That was actually pretty cool, and how Natsu always wanted to beat him. Not only that, I like the whole thing that he did to Makarov whenever he didn't want to be the master, and he kind of just threw that back to Makarov again, so Makarov became the master again of Fairy Tail. I like that. And I also like the comedy that's been put in there with Kana and Gildarts, after he found out that he was her father and everything. So I really enjoyed what they've done with that. So number 6 would be Wendy. Wendy is actually one of my favorite characters. I think she's adorable, but at the same time, not only do I think her character is adorable, but she's a character that really did go through a lot of growth through the series. I will have to give that to Wendy because, she started off as this shy, timid girl. She was pretty whiny in the beginning. And, I mean, yeah, it was cute and all, but, I mean, she was a character that was really lacking at the start. And then I think that once she started to develop, which was during the Tartarus arc, whenever she finally learned Dragon Force, I thought that was really cool, and I did enjoy that moment when she fought the Demon of Tartarus and she actually defeated him. That was a great moment for Wendy. So I have to give props to Mashima there. He did really good, I think, with developing her character, which led her into one of my favorites, actually. So I really do like Wendy's character. And then, of course, number 5 is YuGiOh, the Vegeta of Fairy Tail. Because I say he's the Vegeta because he acts just like Vegeta, realistically. And YuGiOh's been a character that, while he was introduced as an antagonist, he became, in my opinion, one of the greatest characters. I love every moment with YuGiOh. I love the rivalry between him and Natsu as well. And him being the, Steel Shadow Dragon Slayer was awesome. I mean, he was already the Steel Dragon Slayer when we saw him, but once he absorbed Rogue's powers and everything, that was a really awesome moment in the Grand Magic Games. I remember reading that chapter when it came out, and I was just like, oh man, that is one of the best things. And, we can't forget Levy, because, Levy did really help open up YuGiOh as a character, so, I gotta give credit to that. I really do like the dynamic between these two characters. I think that Mashima's good when it comes to developing relationships. I think he knows how to do it, So, number 4 for me is Mira Jane. Mira Jane is one of those characters that I've always enjoyed. I also like the fact that she's like this sweet woman, but when she was younger, she was an edgy woman. Like, she was an edgy girl. I loved it. I don't know. I just love the change in her character there. I thought that was really funny. And, it's ironic because that does happen to people sometimes. Some people go from being the edgiest people to, like, the nicest people later. It's kind of funny. And I like the rivalry between Erza and Mira. I think that was also something fun. But Mira also has proven that she's not the kind of character to piss off, because when you anger her, she's ready to throw down. And I have to say, her Satan Soul, or Demon Soul, whatever you want to call it. I go with Satan Soul because that was what it was called in the manga. But, I have to say her Satan Soul forms are actually really awesome. I really enjoyed that. And, another cool thing was whenever we learned that she could absorb the other, demons and make them a part of her Satan Souls. I thought that was cool, because we did see that in the Grand Magic Games when she used the demon from Tartarus, one of those demons, and actually had her abilities of curses to put people to sleep. I thought that was cool. So Kana is number 4. I always liked Kana's character. I've always loved her design. I think that Hiro does really well when it comes to character designs, and Kana is one of those I really like. But, thing is that not only do I like Kana for that, her personality, she's always great. She always seemed like the big sister to Lucy, which I thought was kind of cool. And also, I just think that her drunk moments are hilarious. I just love her being drunk. I don't know. It's just, drunk Kana is, like, adorable to me. It's hilarious and adorable at the same time. It's like a mixture of the two. I always like that. And, that's the thing, though. Kana was always a great character, in my opinion. I always liked her story about her trying to find her father, Gildarts, as well, and that's what led her to Fairy Tail in the first place. So Kana, to me, I think is one of the best characters, and, she's definitely got the assets, if you know what I mean. So, moving on to another one. Number 3 for me would be Brandish. Now, Brandish was a very interesting character for certain, and, she was introduced in the final arc, and while the final arc was kind of subpar in certain areas, Brandish really proved that she's a character you don't mess with. I mean, I like her demeanor of, I don't have patience for many things. And then, of course, she uses her abilities to kind of just get rid of people or, take them down a notch by, using her powers to shrink them. She was someone that was definitely a terrifying character because you just didn't know what she was going to do. I also thought that her sneezing and being allergic to pollen was kind of a cute little quirk to her character. And the most adorable parts to her character, though, was when she had her girly moments. I love those because if you look at Brandish when she smiles, she is absolutely adorable. I mean, seriously, tell me that face isn't cute. Tell me that smile right there is not just one that just brings you joy. I mean, seriously, when Brandish smiles, which is kind of a rare occasion, it's cute, which, ironically, she is also Hiromashima's favorite character. Now, number 2 for me is a big one because I love JuViOh. I've always enjoyed JuViOh. She was that great character that I loved her in terms of comedy. She was always comedic because, she always had that love for Gray after he beat her in that fight, right? And the thing is that a lot of series will do the whole, I love this person so much, right? Like, they'll have characters fall in love with other characters, and when they do this, and it's like the obsession kind, it can be quite annoying. So most of the time, you'll see like the obsession type be rather obnoxious over being enjoyable. But I think that with JuViOh, I think that this was actually the one of the few instances that I was like, yes, I actually love the comedy between her loving Gray. Because it's just hilarious. It's just humorous moments. And I've also just loved her yandere moments and her jealous moments also when it comes to Gray. But JuViOh is a character I think that, from who she once was to where she got towards the end of the series, I think that she became an excellent character. And I think she was always just fun. And the more I saw of JuViOh, the more I just was like, I need to see more of this character. I just love JuViOh. So, number 1 is a tie, because I love Natsu's character. Natsu is fantastic. I mean, you want to talk about a great character, Natsu is that to me, because I see a lot of myself in Natsu when I was younger. And it's funny because Hiromashima, basically, when he was a teenager, he said that he was a lot like Natsu. And, it's kind of ironic. And the other thing is I also like powers and abilities that are around fire. I mean, I know that's the generic go-to, but I don't know. Fire has always been something I've always liked, and I don't know, I just love it. It's like having a passionate, burning soul and, ambition, and that's what I've always liked about fire. And, I think Natsu is an excellent character, and, his whole dynamic with Zareth, the whole E&D thing and whatnot, I thought it was pretty cool. I don't think it was as good as the twist, though, with Rave and what, you find out about Ellie and everything, but I think that was still pretty fun to find out about Natsu and, all of that. Now, of course, the other character that's tying for first place is Erza. Now, Erza, love her to death. She's like in top 10 favorite waifus ever. I mean, yeah, of course, she's got the look, she's definitely has the appeal, but one thing I've always liked is her backstory, the Tower of Heaven. I mean, she was somebody who went from being a slave to working for freedom. And I have to say that I really enjoyed that about her. She had a rough childhood. I mean, she even lost her eye, trying to fight for her freedom. And then, of course, she grew up to be a very powerful character because of, the fact that she wanted to save her friends, but she couldn't. So she decided she was going to save the ones that she at least had. And not only that, but like I said, Erza, she's got the looks. She has the beauty. You want to talk about making beautiful characters. I mean, in my opinion, Hiro knew what he was doing when he made Erza. I mean, seriously, I love that character. I love her to this very day. She's an excellent character. But those are my top 10 for certain. For certain. So, Crownslayer asks, Dragonlord X67, how can I convince you to play Arknights? I mean, hey, if it's great and it's a fun game, sure, I'll give it a try. I mean, I don't mind giving things a shot. So, hey, no problem, man. Just show me some stuff, man. I'd be interested. Metanox X8 asks, you play Blaze Blue or it Guilty Gear before? I guess it's or Guilty Gear before. I have played Guilty Gear, and I did enjoy it. I still have yet to play the newest Blaze Blue. It's called Not Having Enough Time. Am I right? I really want to. Plus, playing Neo. I want to play Neo. Dragon Josh asks, what's your TF2 main? I have not played Team Fortress, so I don't have a main. But I definitely would be willing to give it a shot. I mean, that's, like I said, I give things a shot. Definitely. So, Rally Monkey asks, do you think the issue I can't talk about will kickstart a trend where blockbuster movies will be released on streaming services? Will this trend be the end for movie theaters? So, that's a good question. So, looking at it, I mean, we already see that Disney Plus is putting, Black Widow on Disney Plus. So seeing that they're doing that, I wouldn't be surprised considering there's so many movies being delayed and pushed back. It wouldn't shock me if they start doing that. And then, of course, the trend might be, well, maybe we can make more by doing it on streaming services. So It might be the wave of the future and movie theaters might die out, but I think it might be a long time before that actually happens. But it's something to think about. Fallen Knight 711 had to say, heard any news regarding government pushing a bill where they want to look into everything you do? Yes, actually. I've looked up a little bit on that, and I think it's utterly ridiculous. But then again, I'm really not surprised seeing that they try to get information all the time, so it's not really a surprise to me. I think people should keep their privacy, but it's the government. They're going to do what they're going to do, right? I don't agree with it, but what are you going to do? Ant Demon asks, what's your favorite fairy tale? I love Alice in Wonderland. It's always been one I've loved. The nightmare story of it, the original version, I adore that. I also love American McGee's Alice. Those games, Alice and Alice Madness Returns, I love that crap out of those games. Like, you want to tell me a game that I've spent hours upon hours on? I spent so much time on those games. I love them to death. I remember it took me a whole day. It took me 24 hours to complete Madness Returns. I remember that. It's such a long but yet fun game. I love it. Zio Returns asks, favorite philosophical quote? Now, I don't know if I'd say this is so much philosophical. It's more so like a movie quote. But I love The Wrath of Khan. Revenge is a dish best served cold. I don't know. I've always loved that quote. Emilio Esteban, man, best Khan. You can't beat that movie. That's the best Star Trek movie, in my opinion. You can't beat it. Coop goes on to ask, favorite form of pizza roll? Oh, that's a good question. This reminds me of when I went to Memphis a few years back with a few of my friends for a YCS, a YuGiOh Championship Series. I remember I went to this Italian restaurant, and I ordered the most delicious pizza roll I ever had in my life. It was actually made by a real Italian family from Italy, and they own this restaurant. It was the best I've ever had. So I'd have to say that pizza roll, and it was barbecue. It was divine. It was beautiful. It had barbecue sauce to go with it. Oh man, it was glorious. Metalord 395 asks, do you play Ruby Amenity Arena? No, I actually don't. Ironically, I never had the time to, so I never did. But God, I love the Neo art. I will not deny that. Cheater 59, do you watch Hiro Hey? I've watched him a couple of times. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he does some pretty interesting content, but I don't keep up with him. But I have seen his content a couple of times. I most notably know him due to the fact that he used to do Ruby stuff, and the Twitter Puritans hate him. If you were to look at the woke Ruby fanatics, they hate him to death. I've seen how they've treated him on Twitter. It's some pretty gross stuff. They make memes about him because they hate him to death. But, no, from what I've seen, he makes some pretty good content, but I don't keep up with it. But I've seen his stuff a couple of times. So he's pretty good. And then Cheater goes on to ask, are you going to make more Ruby discussion videos? I think I will every once in a good long while. I do have some ideas for stuff, but I'll maybe make a video every once in a good long while of something Ruby related. But Volume 7 really doesn't give you much other than, what did they do wrong with it rather than what was right, because there wasn't very much, in my opinion, that they did well with that volume. I really despise Volume 7 a lot. So, Ton asks, what are your thoughts of Viz Media's manga for Ruby Volume 2? I don't mind it. It's a recap, really, of what Volume 2 was. There's a few differences. I don't really mind it. The Puritans hate it, so, that gives you more reason to think it's good, because they don't like it. So there's that, but it's okay. It's not bad. I don't hate it, or I don't have any problems with it. Ashire asks, how long do you think Ruby would survive in Doom? 5 seconds. I feel like the creatures would just completely stomp Team Ruby into a complete and bloody mess. I don't think they'd last very long. Besides, the Grimm in comparison to the creatures of Doom, Doom make them look like cute little puppies. Just saying. So, the Grimm, they look like cute little puppies in comparison to Doom. Mr. DJ Flyhigh asks, could you see Ruby become the recent new Warriors? Could I see them become the new Warriors? That's a good question. Well, you know what? I have an idea. Let's take a look at Ruby, and let's take a look at the new Warriors and compare them. Volume 7. I didn't want to be reminded of this. I didn't want to be reminded of this. Like, oh, this is terrible. Alright, so let's take a look at the new Warrior. Yeah. I gotta say, I really don't see the difference. Oh man, that's terrible. I mean, if I were to look back at every volume of RWBY, you know, I think the volume 1 through 3 designs are still the best. I mean, personal opinion there. I mean, even 4 through 6 designs weren't as bad as what Volume 7's designs are. Like, Volume 7's designs are like New Warriors level of cringe. It's terrible. They look awful. It's just, I mean, Yang's a freaking UPS driver. Are you kidding me? Like, God, come on. Mr. DJ Fly High then goes on to ask, best RWBYtuber and worst RWBYtuber. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Adela Kai, I think, is the best RWBYtuber in my personal opinion. I really do enjoy him. You know, a lot of people have problems with his nitpicks, but I think his nitpicks are justified, and, you know, I like his sense of humor, really. He's good. Then again, you know, him and I have actually talked, and he's a cool dude. He's definitely awesome. I do like Adela Kai. Worst RWBYtuber. Now, that one competes on so many levels with so many different people because all the woke RWBYtubers are terrible. They're all trash. I'm just going to say it right now. I mean, like, I think two of the worst, so they have, like, some of the worst hot takes would have to probably be between Calaxon and Unicorn of War. My God. Just some of the things they say is just some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I mean, their Twitter is literally littered with some of the worst hot takes I think I've ever read in my life. Just garbage stuff. It's ridiculous what they say and come up with. I mean, no joke. I'm not kidding. Mr. DJ Fly High then asked, could you say the 2010s tops off as the era of bad movies? There were a lot of bad movies. I mean, you know, who asked for Ghostbusters 2016? That movie is hot garbage. That is trash. Star Wars trilogy, garbage. I hated The Force Awakens. You know, that's why I call Jar Jar Abrams because he screwed up. Star Wars, they ruined it. You know, Jar Jar Abrams, Roundhead Ruin Johnson, they ruined it. They destroyed Star Wars. Terminator woke fate, you know, continuing to destroy another franchise. You know, it was bad. But I'll give him credit because I will say that I think that movies like Civil War, you know, Marvel's, you know, Captain America Civil War, and, you know, Avengers Infinity War. I liked Infinity War over Endgame because it was like the Empire Strike Back of this genre. So there were some good movies while there were some bad ones, but I'd say the 2010s probably... Yeah, 2010s were probably a bad, you know, era of movies. Mr. DJ Fly High then goes on to ask, thoughts on Star Trek Picard? I hate it. Plain and simple, I hate it. They have ruined my favorite captain. God, like, they've been doing terrible, like, just for a while. STD is one of the biggest examples, and, like, then Picard, and no. That is not Star Trek to me. Mr. Lonely Soul asks, do you think that our government is hiding a Salem Level secret, and is that secret is out? It would cause more chaos. I mean, you know, they could. I mean, there are many secrets that the government hides. I mean, I think they do it also to try to keep people in check so there wouldn't be panic, because, you know, mass panic of mass levels can happen depending upon what. Possibly, but I don't know, but I wouldn't really be surprised if they did. It would not be a shocker to me at all, by any means, if they actually were. So, probably. Favorite Neo Fanfic? There was a few I've read. One I really liked was with Neo remembering Roman. I think that was like one of the best ones. I really loved that one. Because like it shows like all this backstory. Like they talk about it. And then of course after they've talked about like this whole thing, like it goes to just Neo thinking about it after his death and finding his hat. And I thought that was one of them. I can't remember the name of it though, but it was so good. I loved it. You know, it was really, really good. Foster Jaeger asks, what 6 Pokemon would Neo have in her party? Oh, now that's a very interesting question. So, if Neo was a Pokemon trainer, what would her team be? I'm going to say, I think Neo would have some of the strongest Pokemon. I feel like she'd be a character that would be a great trainer, and I feel like she'd have some of the strongest. I think one of them would be Mimikyu, because Mimikyu was a hit sensation on the internet when that thing was showing off in the trailer. I mean, people love Mimikyu. I love Mimikyu. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. And, with it also having that disguise ability, which is basically a built-in substitute, that is so OP. And then she could, first turn set up Swords Dance, and then, she could Shadow Sneak or Shadow Claw the opponent or Play Rough. I mean, while Mimikyu looks like it's cute and cuddly, that thing is secretly devious. And I think that really kind of fits Neo's personality, because, while she's, cute and adorable, she's a very powerful character. So I think that Mimikyu would suit her very well. Another one is Beware, which I call Ninja Bear Jesus, because if you watch the anime of Pokemon Sun and Moon, you'll understand why I call it that. It can literally swim on land. It can, no joke, run on water. I call this thing Ninja Bear Jesus. It also reminds me of Koro from Akame ga Kill, so if anybody's watched Akame ga Kill, you'll understand what I mean by Koro. This is a Pokemon that you should be afraid of. And its ability, Fluffy, is scary. I mean, yeah, it adds the weakness of fire, but it also, takes on physical hits better. So, this thing's a terrifying threat, really. I think that Beware is a very scary Pokemon, and it would fit her color scheme, too. Crobat, I think, is a Pokemon that would also work very well if the opponent were to set up Stealth Rock. Crobat could come in, defog, and get past the rocks. Crobat could also be used to be a revenge killer, and it has high speed. So I think that Crobat would suit her very well. Besides, Crobat, I mean, this thing's a great Pokemon. A lot of people complain about Zubat, but I feel like Neo would be that character to capture a Zubat, raise it all the way up to being Crobat, and then have this thing be a complete beast. I mean, I feel like Neo would be able to pull that off. I mean, Now, I'm gonna say I feel like because Neo is an assassin, I feel like Greninja would suit her because it's a ninja frog. And if you know how good Greninja is, I mean, you have the Ash Greninja form, and then of course you have Protein. And Protein Greninja being able to change its type with whatever move it uses, I mean, that would throw your opponent off. I mean, yeah, Greninja is mostly a sweeper, but I think that Greninja would fit her team perfectly. Garchomp, because that thing, I mean, the only downside to a Garchomp, if you have one, your opponent could use one too. I mean, what more do I need to say? This thing destroys everything. Garchomp would also fit the whole, the trainer looks cute and cuddly, and then the next thing you know, she has a freaking land shark that's going to come and, completely devour you alive. I think that her fire type would be Charizard. The reason why I think she would use this is because, yet again, the whole idea that I would put around Neo would be stealth and then power. And, well, Charizard kind of fits a big idea of that. I feel like she would use one because, well, I mean, Charizard's a powerful Pokemon, but then again, if you also were to add Mega Evolution to it, which I think she would do, she either have Charizard X or Y. I feel like I'd see her being more of the kind of Y kind of user over X. And the reason for that, I mean, who wouldn't want ice cream in the sunlight? I'm just saying, because Charizard's ability whenever it turns into Mega Charizard Y is, drought, ice cream, sunlight, trying to cool one down, right? Although, looking at her, she brings up the heat. Oh. Right. Because she's hot. Okay. So, moving on. Blue Eyes Spaniard asks, Doom or Animal Crossing? While I do love Nintendo, I love Nintendo, I have to go with Doom. I'm more of a Doom guy. It's terrible. So, JustAFan17 asks, least favorite Sonic game? To me, I mean, within recent years, Sonic... I like Sonic. I've been a Sonic fan for a long time, but if I had to say, it probably still falls upon 06, because that game's garbage. If you ever watch Angry Video Game Nerd, his whole review of that would be my reaction to it, because God, that game is terrible. And the least favorite Archie Sonic the Hedgehog story arc, I personally did not like issues 81 through 84, I think it was, or 85. I don't know. I think it was 81 through 84. I don't think it was 85. But that was the Sonic Adventure tie-in. I did not like that. I really didn't like that arc. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I just felt like it was too much build-up for it to just be rushed in the end, because that's really what it was. felt like they built it up forever and ever and ever. And I mean, that wouldn't have been so bad had the payoff been great, but it just, the end of it was just so rushed. And, I just didn't like it. I don't know. Personal opinion there, but Sonic Tie-In, it's definitely my least favorite of the Archie comics, I'd have to say. I think that was in the early 2000s, I want to say. But yeah, I just didn't like that arc. That arc, I just thought it was too drawn out, and then I just feel like the end of it was rushed. But yeah, good question. Plague Doctor-san asks, have you watched Samurai Cop? No, but I do know what Samurai Cop is. If you're talking about the film, then yes. But no, I have not seen it. But yeah, no, I'd be willing to watch it. Looks like it'd be a load of fun. Lockdown on Lowdown asks, how hyped are you about Bleach coming back? Honestly, I love Bleach. If there's one thing, Ichigo, I think, is a great main character. When it came to the main three, this was actually my favorite. I mean, I've kept up with One Piece. When it comes to it, I kept up with Naruto and Bleach. And, it was sad when Bleach got canceled. And I hated that. Besides, more Rukia in my life, because she is Bae. She is best girl in Bleach, in my opinion. She's my favorite. I've always loved Rukia, and I've always loved her design. And, getting to finally see her, Bankai will be fantastic to see that animated. I mean, I love the panel in the manga. I mean, that's another thing, Kubo was ill also during a lot of the time that he was making the manga, which it was a shame. But to finally be able to see like characters like Ichigo and what goes on against YuGiOh and everything, that'll be really cool. Rukia, like I said, just getting a little bit more Rukia in my life. Yes, that is a plus. Not only that, but finally getting to see another best girl in my opinion, which is Yoroichi. I love Yoroichi, man. And I gotta say, if there's anything, I love the fight that she has that will be animated soon. And I really hope they add on to it, because they really left it on a cliffhanger, which you had to figure out what happened in the light novel and everything. But hopefully they'll show like the end result in the anime. But yeah, I have to say that I'm going to be excited to see that fight get animated, because I don't want to spoil it for people who hasn't seen it. I'm sure many people went to read the manga, but for those who haven't, I'm not going to spoil it. But just a lot of good stuff. And also Kisuke Urahara, who is my favorite male character in all of Bleach, man. Like, you want to talk about someone badass? Urahara. He is badass. He has always been my favorite character. And then in the final arc, he just has such good moments. And, the fight that he gets in, man, it just proves he's great. Because seeing his Bankai, oh, that was awesome. That was, I love his Bankai. It's so good. And then, of course, Kenpachi Zaraki, because, like I said, I enjoy Kenpachi. He's great. And he has another really awesome moment that I am excited to see animated. So, I'm going to be excited to see that next year. So, I'm really excited. I'm also excited for Burn the Witch, too. Because, I think Kubo is a good writer. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be excited. This is something that is going to be great to see. And, I thought it wouldn't happen, but it's finally happening. So, I'm excited. Good question. Bailink asks, hey, Dragalord, hope you're feeling great today. Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you. Hope you are too. Hope everyone watching this is. I changed my mind about posting a question because I found a good one. Can you name your top 5 JoJo's throughout the series? Yeah, definitely. So, this is gonna have a little bit of a spoiler for one of the JoJo's if you haven't read the manga. But so my number 5 favorite would have to be Josuke. I do like Josuke a lot. I think that part 4 was when Araki's writing really started to flourish. I think. I mean, part 3 was really good. I really enjoyed part 2. Part 1 was still good. But part 4, it kind of stands out in its own right, because that was when Araki was trying to go for the slice of life. And I thought it was really cool seeing the adventures of Josuke, in Morio. I thought it was great. Also, I do like his stand, Crazy Diamond. Crazy Diamond is a really cool stand. Too bad you can't heal yourself with it, but, you can heal others. So, there's that. And it is a strong stand. So, my 4th favorite JoJo would be Part 6, Jolene. yeah, I mean, she's a girl who had a hard life, but I think she's a cool character. I always like Jolene. I think her design is very interesting, and Rocky going for a female character for the main character, I thought was really cool. But I'm not gonna spoil anything else. Of course, my third favorite JoJo is Jotaro. I gotta say that Jotaro was really cool. I like Part 3 a lot, but again, a lot of people know Part 3. And Part 3, Jotaro, man, I mean, he was awesome. That was also when he was in his prime. I mean, he was an excellent character. I thought that he was just really cool. He had that great design, that Clint Eastwood design that Rocky based him off of. And then, of course, you have Star Platinum, and Star Platinum the World, which I think is an excellent stand. I mean, time stop, good ability. And I do like the design of Star Platinum. I think that was one of the cooler designs for a stand, in my opinion. Now, I have to say, my second favorite JoJo is Giorno. Giorno is like if you were to take Jonathan and Dio and you take the best character traits of them and you put them together into one. That is Giorno. That's really what he is. And Giorno is a fantastic character. I mean, yeah, he can for some people be a bit bland, but I like him personally. And what he goes through to try to change things where he lives in Italy, was great. And then again, of course, nobody can forget the iconic Diavolo fight, and at the very end when Giorno just completely just destroys him whenever he gets Gold Experience Requiem, which, by the way, that is my favorite stand. I think it has the coolest design. If you've seen it in the manga, Araki, that thing is drawn up beautifully. He really did a good job. Then again, Part 5, I think, story-wise, is my favorite part. I mean, it's so good. And then my favorite JoJo is Joseph. Now, I know this one can be a bit controversial for some people because Joseph, when he was young, some people were like, oh, well, he feels like a typical shonen protagonist or whatnot. But, I really like young Joseph. I think young Joseph was a really cool character. And even as an adult, like when he becomes old, I like him then as well. I mean, who could forget the Joseph Joestar memes, am I right? But, this is a matured Joseph. And, in Part 3, he was actually my favorite in terms of the Stardust Crusaders. I mean, he may not have been the strongest, but he certainly was cool. He was, very good with a lot of his moments, his iconic moments. Like the "oh no," and "oh my god." I love those, but Joseph, he's a great character, and he's one of my favorites. Actually, probably my favorite character in all of JoJo. Rosalina Neo Rose asks, if you had a stand from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which stand and why? I mean, Gold Experience Requiem. I mean, that stand. What are you going to do with that stand? You can't beat it. I mean, it's a passive stand that, if your opponent were to do anything, any action, it's just that action goes back to zero. I mean, just resets it back to zero. The action never happened. And, Giorno's stand with Gold Experience Requiem, I mean, the design is beautiful, and then just its power is just on a whole nother level that no other stand can compare to. I love it. And then, of course, when you kill somebody, they eternally die forever. Furries for a Cell. Top 10 waifus this month. No waifus from the same show. Gotcha. Everybody knows I love Neo. Okay, so I'm going to make this fair. As everyone knows I love Neo, here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually not going to have Neo on this list for this month because, like I said, I want people to see some other waifus. Now, there might be two, though, that I've talked about before, but I'm going to go into this, though. First off, Ryuko Matoi. I love Ryuko. She is a great character. I love Kill la Kill. I mean, Kill la Kill was a series a friend of mine got me into. And, her character was always a great one to me because I kind of like the edginess she has. I mean, she's just a fun character to watch. Also, I do like Gurren Lagann, so, with the same creator of that making this, that's also another thing. But, the power that her character has, this is a strong, independent female character, and I love it. I love Ryuko's character. And, the development she goes through, finding out about her family, her father, and everything, and how he died. It's just great. And, I love it. I love her story. And, I think that her design, both with the, suit, in its transformed stage, and, just casual wear, I think it looks great. So another one, Kushina Uzumaki. I have to give it to her because, in terms of Naruto, I have a lot of problems with the writing, and I mean a lot. But, Kushina was a character that I always liked. I always liked her design, and, here's the thing. In the dub, which when I found this out, I had to watch this because, she's actually voiced by my favorite voice actress, which is Laura Bailey. So, of course, I wasn't going to miss the opportunity to listen to that. But another thing is that I did find her childhood to be very interesting, how she was made fun of for her red hair. I can relate to that, considering that I was as well. So, and her backstory is very interesting. The only sad thing about Kushina is we don't have enough of her character. That's the thing I think that I do hate about it. But, what are you going to do? But, Kushina was also a character that had a temper. She's one that you don't want to get angry. Because when you make her angry, she's going to, basically Hulk slam something because she's a character that had great strength. And that's the thing, like I said, with that great strength, though, we didn't get to know enough about her. And she's a character I would have definitely loved to see, Kishimoto work more on, as well as Minato, because Minato, he's fantastic as well. So that's another waifu there. Mount Lady, have to say it, love her to death. I don't know. It's just she's got that look that I just love. I don't know. It's just I like her. I like her design. Her character, as I've stated before, when it comes to her character, yeah, while she is a hero, she's also a character that can be very vain, and she can also use her own assets to get what she wants, which makes sense. And, she can be a bit lazy, but, that's the thing. She does still care about others. And, she would rather not put others through harm. And, that's what I love about Mount Lady is the fact that she actually does have a pretty good character. I'm actually glad that Horikoshi decided to not just make her like a gag character and actually kind of work on her more. And, it's funny because the more he started to use her character, the more he liked her character. So I thought that was very interesting, especially considering that when you think about Mount Lady, it wasn't actually going to originally be Mount Lady. Ochako Uraraka, she was actually going to be the one with the gigantification quirk, and then he decided not to give that to her, and then instead that's how he came up with the concept for Mount Lady. So, I'm actually glad that Mount Lady became her own character. I mean, that's the thing that I like. And, like I said, she is a very interesting character, and, everybody has their own character flaws. She has her own as well, but, I think that's what makes people really attach to some of their characters. And, like I said, I love Mount Lady. She is a great waifu in my opinion. Just love her to death. Love her design. Just love her character. Her, ability's cool too. And I have to throw Mordred back on here because if you know me, when it comes to Fate, out of all of the female characters in Fate, this is my number one right here. I love Mordred. I mean, every single time you see her, she always has some kind of awesome thing to say or do. She always has awesome fights. I mean, that's the thing. When you see Mordred, you know that shit's about to go down. You know that Mordred is about to throw down. And, she does it well. I mean, this is a character you don't underestimate. When it comes to the Saber of Red, you don't screw with her. She will screw you. But, that's the other thing. I think she also has a personality definitely fitting of a servant character. And, I love her to death. She's a fantastic character. And, she may not be the king, but she is great. Now, Yuno Gasai, this is a character I love. Like, I do love yanderes, and, I mean, she's the queen of yanderes. She's a girl you don't want to ever mess with either, because, you get between her and her love, you're probably not coming out alive, considering, this woman, she knows how to take people out. And that's the thing. You don't piss her off. But, she was actually my favorite part of Mirai Nikki. I loved her character. She was... It's just her moments, they may be terrifying, but I also found them to be pretty hilarious. But she has her endearing moments too, and that's what I love about her. Besides, when you look at her, it's like there's something you can't ever forget about. Oh, right. That scene, the crazy look. I may sound like a weird person, but I find that look very, very, very good. I love that look. It's a very attractive look. And now, I did talk about Esdeath And thing is, while Esdeath is definitely best girl in my opinion in a comic I kill, I have to give it this time to Mine, because Mine is my second favorite. So I wanted to throw her onto this list. Also, along with Yandere's, I am a fan of Tsundere's. So Mine, I really liked her character. I mean, from her backstory about her actually being an illegal alien, and she was treated differently because of it, and then she wanted to actually make a life for herself. She wanted to be rich and wealthy. I like that. I liked her character. Of course, if you were to look at the anime, it's a shame what happened to her. I mean, but I have to say she is a great character, and that's the other thing. She knew how to fight. I mean, you want to talk about a character that knew how to use a weapon. Yeah, her Imperial Arms, I loved it. And she was actually the one to be able to bring out the full potential of the weapon. I did like that. I thought that was awesome. And, that's the thing. Mine was just, a wonderful character. I loved her character. It was a shame what happened to her in the anime, but, gotta say though, still, I really enjoyed Mine. She's fantastic. Now, another character that I liked is from Musaiga no Phantom World, which is Mai. I've always liked Mai. It's kind of funny because, yet again, this goes back to my trend of liking tsunderes. Yeah, I have a thing for tsunderes, apparently. I don't know. But Mai as a character has always been one that I really liked. I always liked her design. I think that the creator did a good job. And, Musaiga no Phantom World, of course, it starts off slow as a series, but, I feel like Mai was one of the characters that made it more enjoyable for me to watch. I don't know. That's just me. I'd like to see more of the series adapted because the light novel is pretty good. It's not bad. But, she's also someone that, while she is a tsundere, she's also a character you don't want to mess with, which I thought was, pretty cool. She knew how to fight. And, I do like seeing that when it comes to anime. If, a character knows how to fight, that's great. It's not just coming down to who they are. And, I mean, I also like seeing those flustered, tsunderes. It's adorable. I mean, and the moments with Maya, whenever she was flustered, always enjoyed it. I always found it to be a load of fun. But yeah, Mai definitely is my favorite out of all the characters in terms of like the female characters. In fact, I think she was probably my favorite character in that show. Now that I think about it, really. But because like you have other great characters, but I don't know. It's just Mai for me. She took the top spot. So when it comes to Musaiga no Phantom World and the other characters, which they're pretty interesting, but if anyone has to take the cake, it definitely has to be the tsundere over here. Has to be Mai as best girl in terms of all the characters in Musaiga no Phantom World. So I have to give her props. Now the next one, this one's a pretty big one. Now you know me, I love High School DxD. And my favorite character in High School DxD, in terms of the females at least, is Zenobia. I love Zenobia. That's a character that she also used a blade, which was the Randall, and also for mythology. So I love it. I love that they do that. Put in religions and mythologies and kind of like put them in that world, right? But Zenobia, with her social awkwardness, I've always loved it. And the moment that I saw her and Irina, show up, she just stood out to me, and could not help but just love Zenobia from the moment I saw her character. I mean, she was just one that stood out to me, and I really enjoyed her. And she brings the appeal. You want to talk about a beautiful character. Zenobia is that. I really do love Zenobia. And if you read the light novel and you understand what more she gets in the future, I'm not going to spoil because there is something that she does get as a weapon that is fantastic. But she's an awesome character, and I love Zenobia's design also. Now, when it comes to Pokemon, I've talked about Pokemon last month, and Cynthia is definitely my number one, and then of course Lucamine being my number two. But there's also a character that's always kind of held like a special waifu spot for me, and that is actually Sabrina. Now, Sabrina is a character that I've always enjoyed, not just from the games, but also from the anime, because, you play the games, and if you go back to Gen 1, she is the strongest gym leader, because Psychic types didn't really have much of a weakness. She was very OP, because the only Pokemon that had a Bug-type move was Beedrill, and Ghost types at that time were not effective against Psychic types. So, yeah, Psychic types were extremely busted in the game, but, Sabrina was always an interesting character. A lot of people said that, at least that I've talked to that were friends of mine that were into Pokemon or that still are, Sabrina scared them as a child because of the arc that she had in the anime. And, to me, I don't know. I just liked her arc. I don't know. Some people, don't like it, but I don't know. I liked her character arc. It's sad that she's never showed up again in the anime as a reference or anything. But, yeah, Sabrina's got a special place in my heart there in terms of a waifu. And I've also always liked her redesign, especially when they redesigned her again in Heart Gold Soul Silver. I think that was my absolute favorite form of her because, you have the cool one from Fire Red and Leaf Green, which I like that design, but the Heart Gold Soul Silver design I think is the best. And for those of you who don't know, fun little trivia here, Sabrina in the manga in Pokemon Adventures, she was actually a Team Rocket member, which was pretty interesting. 4 of the gym leaders were actually Team Rocket members, and then of course later on, she goes on to actually being an actress too at the Pokestar Studios in Unova in the manga, which I thought was actually really, really cool. So, I have to at least give them credit on that. Now, the last waifu on the list here is Aki. I love Aki from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Like, she is my favorite overall female character in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! Some of the female characters have not been the best written, but Aki was that character that, while she was a signer, she had a lot to play within the story of 5Ds, but she had a good arc. I mean, having psychic powers and her parents fearing her, sending her to, that psychic institution she went to, was very interesting. And then, of course, she just felt like, nobody really cared. She needed somebody, and she met Yusei, and she slowly started to open herself up. And, she also uses one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards ever, which is Black Rose Dragon. And, the cool thing is I actually have a first edition Ultimate Rare Black Rose. And, so, I love that card. And it's actually worth a pretty good amount of money. Which, I was looking through one night and I found that. I was like, oh, it's like awesome. But, I thought it was awesome that, Black Rose is actually pretty expensive. But, that's the thing, or at least Ultimate Rares and Ghost Rares. But that's the thing. Aki, love her character, and I think she was probably the best written female character in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! In my opinion. But yeah, those would be my top 10 waifus. But, that's the thing. If you have any other questions for me for next month's Q&A, or if I missed any, be sure to let me know. Put them in the comment section down below, or you can actually put them in the monthly Q&A in my Discord. So, the link is in the description down below if you would like to join my Discord. We have a wonderful community there, and whatever questions you have for the monthly Q&A, I will definitely be more than glad to answer. But yeah, so, it was fun answering this Q&A. Sorry it was late, but hey, things happen, right? But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow can always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.